What's up guys, it's your boy DamnboiTV back with another video. Today I want to talk to you about how you can optimize your chances / odds of getting 99 parses in Blackwing Lair. If you have any questions or the like, feel free to throw a comment down below. You can also check out my Twitch where I stream 3 to 4 times a week. And if you have any questions or the like, just come in there, chat with me, I'm always open to help you out. To optimize your DPS, there's a lot of requirements we need to fulfill, so to speak. First of all, the raid composition is very important for you. You would need a lock doing Curse of Recklessness on each boss, reducing the boss's armor. You would need a druid to do Fury Fire on all the bosses to reduce the armor even further. And then of course you have Sunders and Warriors, but that says itself. On top of that, something that helps is a Feral Druid for Leader of the Pack, 3% crit, and a Hunter for True Shot Hour that gives you more attack power. If you're playing Horde, you will want a Shaman in your group that will be dropping Windfury Totem, and he will actually be totem twisting, so you can put down the Windfury Totem, and you can then, after the buff is applied to you, you can do another Air Totem, the Adu one for instance, and that he keeps on doing while you're doing the bosses to improve your DPS even further. Next up, we'll have a quick look at the consumes. You're going to be using Elemental Sharpening Stones. You can use 2 of these, one main hand and offhand. As an alliance, as a horde, you're only going to use it on offhand. You're going to be using an Elixir of the Mongoose, Juju Power, Smoked Desert Dumplings, and Juju Might. You can also use Winterfall Firewater instead of Juju Might, but Juju Might gives you 5 attack power more, but you have to reapply twice as much though, because it only lasts 10 minutes versus 20 minutes. You also want to bring a Mighty Rage potion for each boss and a couple of limited invulnerability potions just in case you get aggro. Then you can pop one of these and avoid dying and losing your world buffs. Next up is the single target rotation that we use on bosses. It is very straightforward and very simple. You want to prioritize Bloodthirst, then Whirlwind, then Heroic Strike to dump Rage. So always make sure you have 30 rage to use your Bloodthirst and Whirlwind on cooldown. You want to keep these on cooldown constantly. When you do bosses in here and you're fully world buffed, you can basically have Heroic Strike queued constantly and just let it smash. So keep that in mind. But when you're not world buffed, it is a different scenario and you gotta watch out to make sure you have 30 rage to use Bloodthirst and Whirlwind when they go off cooldown. It is a DPS loss if you don't use them immediately when they go off cooldown. Last but not least, you need to get world buffs. When you're raiding, you can get all of them except one, Darkmoon Fair. Darkmoon Fair is only up once a week, once a month, but you can get the rest of them and it's fairly easy to get. It does take a lot of preparation. I guess it takes around 1.5 hours or so to get them all, including Warchief's Blessing of course. But it is so much more fun for you to raid and you'll enjoy it for sure. I have made a video on how to get the world buffs and in which order I get them, which I think is the most efficient one. There's a link in the description for the video if you want to check that out. I'm not going to go any further into that. Now we want to get into the bosses and what I do on each boss to maximize my DPS. Before we get started with the bosses, I want to recommend a Weakaura called Time to Kill. I will put it down in the description down below the video. This helps me estimating when I should use my cooldowns, such as Death Wish, Diamond Flask, Recklessness, and so forth. What it does is it accumulates the rate DPS on a certain target and gives you a timer of when this target is going to die. But it does not accumulate that you're going to have more DPS after 20% because of execute. So you probably want to add around 5 to 10 seconds to it. So for instance, when the timer says 40 seconds left till the boss dies, you want to use Death Wish. I definitely recommend getting this Weakauras. Anyway, let's get to the bosses. The first rule of thumb is always have full rage before engaging a boss. On Razorgore you can do it on the ads. Before the fight starts, you want to use your Diamond Flask so you don't have to use a global cooldown while doing the fight. You want to use a FAP as the fight commences, that way you won't be stunned and you'll have no downtime. For cooldown usage, we're going to use the Weakauras timer. We're going to use Death Wish at around 40 seconds, Mighty Rage potions at around 30 seconds, and recklessness at around 20 to 25 seconds. It all depends on your right composition. If you have a lot of warriors, you're going to use it earlier because you have more executes going on. Next up is Bailstress the Corrupt. Here you want to use your diamond flask 1 second before the fight commences. You will almost have unlimited rage, so you should spam your heroic strike at all times. You will be using Death Wish at around 40 seconds, Mighty Rage Pot at 30 seconds, and Recklessness at 20% HP. When you go to execute phase at 20% HP, you should be spamming Heroic Strike together with your execute. This run was kinda scuffed for me, so I didn't do my rotation and stuff properly. The tank's UI was bugging or something, so the threat was kinda off, but we managed anyway. The next boss is Broodlord Lair. On this guy, it is important to position yourself so that when he does the knockbacks, you will be knocked into the wall. You will be using your Diamond Flask at 70 seconds, your Death Wish at 40 seconds, and Mighty Rage at 30 seconds. Death Wish and Mighty Rage is more or less the same on all the bosses. As you can see, the blast wave, you go into the wall and you're closer to him instead of getting further away knocked. An important thing to notice here is that, on this fight at least for us, that the third tank was standing by the melees and he forgot to turn him. So I was actually hitting him in the front, so I got more parries and dodges. You see 2 parries there and dodge again. Make sure your tanks position it correctly so you're always attacking from behind. And of course the rogues need to be on top of the suppressors to disarm them, because if you get one or two of those, your parse is wrecked. For the next boss, called Firemode, you need some more preparation. On the pack before you're pulling Firemode, you want to pop a Juju Ember, a Greater Fire Protection Potion, and 20 to 30 seconds before you engage Firemode, you want to pop a Magic Resistance Potion, in case you don't have a Paladin in your group giving you Fire Aura. On top of that, you want to be wearing your Fire Rest gear. I have around 155 Fire Rests in my gear. Remember to have 6% hit if you're human using swords or maces. Get your appropriate hit cap in your Fire Rest gear as well, otherwise you're gonna get a bad parse. Once again, build Rage if possible, and don't be a noob like me getting 2 stacks of the Flame Buffet here for no reason. I usually get around 7 or 8 stacks and then I go out. Here I got 2 from the start, very idiotic, but that is what it is. A nice trinket to use here is the Blazing Emblem. It gives you 15 fire resistance and it has an on-use as well. The on-use gives you 50 fire resistance for 15 seconds when you use it. So what I usually do, after I go out and lose my Flame Buffets, I pop my Diamond Flask and run in, and when I reach 5 Flame Buffets again, I'll pop my Blazing Emblem and cross my fingers that the RNG guards will resist some Flame Buffets for me, so I don't have to go out again and lose the DPS here. On this fight I was really lucky. The RNG guards was finally with me and I actually almost got 1k DPS, which was pretty damn awesome. Another thing to note is use your Berserker Rage on fights like these, because when you take great damage like this, you're gonna get more rage and you can do more DPS. I forget it here when I go in the second time, but you know, sometimes you just forget stuff. As for cooldown usage, it's 70 seconds for Diamond Flask, Death Wish at 40 seconds, and Mighty Rage at 30 seconds. It's more or less the same timers for the rest of the run here. For the next boss, Eben Rock, you want to put your Onyxia Scale Cloak on. If you have confidence in your tanks doing their job properly and the healers healing them, you can skip this and get some more DPS that way. Otherwise, Eben Rock is more or less just tank and spank. We will be using Diamond Flask at 70 seconds, Death Wish at 40 seconds, Mighty Rage Pot at 30 seconds. We will be using all our cooldowns here, so for the next Drake we won't have any cooldowns really. Mighty Rage Potion is probably the only cooldown we will actually have. Make sure to do your rotation properly here and cross your fingers that you get some awesome crits. The reason why we're using all our cooldowns on Eben Rock is so that we have them up for Magus as well. It is almost impossible to get a full 99 parse run in Blackwing Lair because the bosses are so close, some of them. Personally, the best I've done is 7 out of 9 bosses with 99 parses in one run. I have yet to see somebody actually do it. A complete 99 parse run. On Flame Gore, remember to change your trinket so you don't have Diamond Flask on. Put on Black Hand Breath. On Flame Gore as well, you can use the Berserker Rage trick again, like we did on Firemode. When he does the enraged thing, he's gonna do raid damage, and you can gain some more rage from using this at the right time. But since we have no cooldowns, we're gonna be able to use a Mighty Rage potion as the only thing on Flame Gore, because we used everything on Even Rock. We're gonna use Mighty Rage at 30 seconds. But on top of that, just focus on your rotation and do it properly. And you might be able to do some decent parts anyway. Otherwise, what I recommend is you change it up so that the next raid you do after doing it like this, you can just use all your cooldowns on Flame Gore. But then you won't have them for Magus though. On the next and second last boss, Magus, you should have all your cooldowns ready, including recklessness. If you want, you can use recklessness on Magus or Nefarian, that's totally up to you. Anyway, here on Magus, it is important that you go out as late as possible when he does the breaths. Because going out 3 or 4 seconds early, you see, these guys, some of them are actually moving out way too early, you see. You're just gonna lose DPS and it's not worth, like, you can stay in till right as she casts the breath. On top of that, we are gonna use Diamond Flask at 70 seconds again. And Death Wish at 40 seconds, Mighty Rage Potion at 30 seconds, and if you choose to use Recklessness here, you can use it at around 20 to 25 seconds, once again depending on your setup and the amount of warriors you have executing. Another little tip is to utilize the huge hitbox on Magus. You can actually stand further back than I am there, and that makes the running back and forth when the breath is going out smaller, and it gives you more uptime on the boss. The last and final boss, Nefarian, you want to use your cooldowns like we've done on many of the other bosses. You want to use your Flask at 70 seconds, your Death Wish at 40 seconds, and Mighty Rage Bot at 30 seconds. If you didn't use Rec on Magus, you'll use it here at 20 to 25 seconds. A thing to note here is use your Berserker Rage right as the fear goes out. Give you that uptime on the boss, 100% uptime on the boss. You will have it for every fear if you use it properly, and you should definitely get your parse. When we get to 20% and the skeletons spawn, you want to use a sapper and stratholme holy water. Don't risk dying though, like I do here in this run. I was very close to dying, but I managed, thank Lord. Once again, the hitbox is huge on the Farion as well, so you can utilize this and still DPS while doing your sapper, like I do here. And if you're alliance, make sure to tell your paladins to bubble if the paladin class call goes out, otherwise the boss is gonna be immune by getting Blessing of Protection. Anyway guys, this actually concludes this guide. I hope you all enjoyed as much as me. Feel free to throw me a comment, a sub, and a like down below. It would be greatly appreciated. If you have any questions or the like, you can just throw it down there in the comment section, or you can check out my Twitch stream as well. I stream 3 to 4 days a week. I'm always open-minded and I'd love to answer your questions and help you as much as possible. Anyway, Damnboy's out for now. I hope you have a damn great time till we see each other next time.